Greg's up. He says, "Hey guys, that camel face is truly spooky." Yeah, that's funny. When wanting, excuse me, when wanting to link from a subcategory page in a silo to another same level subcategory page, should we use a do follow or no follow link? This is a complex silo structure with only one top level page and 10 subcategory pages, each having siloed posts, basically wanting direct traffic from subcategory page number 5 to number 6. Thanks. Well, that's a kind of a tricky question, Greg. Without me knowing exactly what the sub silos were or subcategories, I can't really answer that. And because if it's closely related enough, now I understand subcategories mean that they're related because it has a parent category that makes all of the subcategories related, right? Or else it wouldn't be under the same parent category, be under a different one. So there is a relationship there. But depending on how closely related or non-closely related they are, it would determine whether I would do a follow or no follow link. Because typically, once you get down to the subcategory level and then the depth to the silo, which is adding additional supporting articles below that, right? The width or breadth, as Jeffrey Smith calls it, but the width of the silo would be each subcategory is an additional unit of width. Does that make sense? Now, each supporting article within the silo is another unit, an additional unit of depth, if that makes sense. Okay, so usually you're going to link from any subcategory. The deeper it goes, like you're going to keep adding links to that, right? So in other words, every new supporting article within that vertical silo is going to be linking back up to that subcategory page. And the subcategory page links back up to the top level category page, right? But usually at any point in that silo that you're going to link to one of the other sub silos or subcategories that you would end up, I typically will do a no follow link because we want to try to keep those subcategory silos the theme very, very tight. If they were related enough to where they could be a do follow link, which there is occasions that happens, instances that happens, right? But then technically, if they were closely related enough, couldn't those two subcategories be combined into one then? Right? Does that make sense? So that's why you got to be really careful about, I've seen silo structures, guys, that are way overcomplicated. I talk about this often, but I've seen people build out silo structures with subcategories that are too closely related that should have been combined all into one. Oftentimes I've seen what could have been a simple silo and all of the air quote subcategories that they created could have been all combined into one and created just a simple silo instead. Because again, you can get too granular in how you try to separate your keyword themes. So I know I didn't give you a solid answer on that because I don't have enough data. This is kind of a vague question, and it's really going to determine, it would depend on how you structured your silos, how you stacked your keyword themes before I could answer that. When in doubt, use a no follow link. That's the short answer. Does anybody else want to comment on that?
Just real quick, because what I want to point out is these are the problems that you run into when you're dealing with a top level domain, right? A TLD, whether it's .com, .net, or you have hundreds now, right? But anyway, different rules apply to those. What we've been trying to do is to get away from all that and just make things really simple where it doesn't matter. You can still silo, but you can break the silo rules. Basically, you can interlink between the silos. Again, in RYS Academy Reloaded, we call it the spiderweb silo, where you can push power everywhere, and as long as there's relevance, and it doesn't have to be as tight as silo structure on a TLD. So as you're pushing relevance, then Google is fine, because what we do is we play off what Google loves, which is Google. And so that's why we've been moving away. I know you talk about it, Bradley, that you haven't built a WordPress website in months.
Yeah.
Same here. I don't build them. I don't bother with them. Or if someone pays me enough to build one, I'll build them, but I'm not going to mess with them. Once I build it and make it look real nice, I'm going to do everything off page or off site, so that I don't have to bother with all of these things that you have to do when you're working with a top level domain.
There you go. There you go. And guys, like I said, I mean, you know, if you really want to know how to structure a WordPress site and silo structure and how to group your keywords and keep your keyword theming really, really tight and all that kind of stuff. Again, SEO Bootcamp, Jeffrey Smith is hands down the best on-page SEO course I've ever seen in my entire career, and I mean that. So if that's something you want to do, Greg, if building WordPress sites and authority sites and such like that is part of your business, then I would absolutely recommend that you get that course and go through it, because there's no better training out there.
Yep, okay. And he's charging $1,000 for that course, but if they go through he keeps our link open, and you guys get 50% off.
That's right.
Through that link, half price. So I mean it's a no-brainer if you're dealing with TLDs and the client just insists that everything get done on the website, then this is the way to go.
That's it. But as Marco said, I totally he was right. I haven't built a WordPress website in months, and I really hope I don't have to ever again. I know it's going to happen. I know there's no way I'm completely out of the woods on that. But I honestly, I'm doing everything in GMB right now, and I love it because it's so much easier, guys. And oh, by the way, the GMB Google sites, GMB websites, excuse me, they all got updated. They had a facelift. If you guys hadn't noticed, they look so much better now. By the way. They look really, really nice. So, and I mean, it's what's great is they look great on mobile too. So, these sites, guys, they'll convert. I mean, that's what the facelift, the revamp of them was to help them to convert better, right? And so, again, I'm doing everything in GMB because it doesn't cost anything other than time, right? And it's working. We're able to get results without the WordPress site. So.